So today I'm talking about something incredibly important, but again, something that's overlooked in conventional medicine, and that's the link between methylation, detoxification pathways, and hormone balance, hormone health. Now, if you're dealing with symptoms like mood swings and PMS and heavy periods and low libido and weight gain, fatigue and brain fog, this might not just be a hormone issue. It could be a problem with your detoxification pathways and your methylation cycle that's out of balance. And this can affect both men and women, especially when it comes to a hormone called estrogen. Okay, so let's start with the basics. Methylation is this biochemical process that happens billions of times a second in our bodies. It's responsible for repairing DNA, creating neurotransmitters like serotonin and dopamine, detoxifying chemicals, heavy metals and hormones, managing inflammation, and then again, recycling key nutrients like homocysteine, which I've talked about in a past video, but one of the most important roles it has is in detoxifying excess estrogen and moving it safely out of the body. Now, if methylation is impaired due to genetic SNPs or nutrient deficiencies or environmental stress, hormones like estrogen can build up, and this can lead to a condition called estrogen dominance. Now, estrogen is a powerful hormone. It supports bone health and brain function and mood, and of course reproduction, but too much of it or the wrong kind, it becomes very toxic. Now, your liver plays a huge role in estrogen detoxification and even methylation, and that's really where part or phase 2 detoxification takes place. It takes toxic substances and converts it into water-soluble supplements and then moves it out of our bodies. Now, if methylation is sluggish, your body can't clear this estrogen properly. Instead, it gets reabsorbed in the gut, it builds up in tissues, it triggers all kinds of symptoms that we start seeing the effects of this hormone imbalance. And it's not just in women, it affects men as well. Okay, so we have to talk about estrogen dominance for a moment, right? What happens when there's just too much estrogen in relationship to progesterone? Or when estrogen isn't being metabolized or broken down and detoxified effectively? Well, in women, it's going to cause things like PMS and mood swings, heavier painful periods, fibroids and endometriosis, breast tenderness, certainly weight gain, especially around the hips and the thighs. It can cause trouble with insomnia, trouble sleeping, and anxiety. But in men, high estrogen can lead to low libido, erectile dysfunction, belly fat, brain fog, depression, anger, irritability. The list goes on and on. But again, these are red flags that your body isn't clearing estrogen properly. And this is why methylation is so important to look at. And sometimes it's the root cause of these issues. So the next thing we need to talk about is that estrogen goes through 3 phases of detoxification in the body. Phase 1 is liver hydroxylation, phase 2 is conjugation, and phase 3 is the elimination through the gut and through the kidneys. Now, methylation is a major part of phase 2 detoxification. This is where estrogen is methylated by an enzyme like COMT, catechol-methyltransferase, and safely moves out. And I've talked about this in my past video. But if your methylation genes like MTHFR and MTR and MTRR and COMT, if they're not functioning well, or if you're deficient in nutrients like B6, B9, B12, or magnesium, or your estrogen metabolism is getting jammed up, instead of producing clean estrogens that exit the body, you produce reactive estrogen metabolites that damage cells, disrupt hormonal communication, raise the risk of hormone-sensitive cancers. And this becomes important, and this is why it's so important to look at not only just estrogen, but also some of these estrogen derivatives like E1, which is estrone, and E2, estriol, and some of these other markers that I'm going to talk about in my next video. All right, let's talk about genetics just for a moment here, right? Most people have heard of MTHFR, but methylation is influenced by really just a network of genes, and these include MTHFR, which converts folate into the active form, MTR and MTRR, which recycle B12 and help remethylate homocysteine, COMT, which breaks down estrogen, but also our fight or flight hormones or neurotransmitters, catecholamines, and then BHMT, which supports alternative methylation routes. Now, testing only MTHFR really only gives you an incomplete picture. So you need to evaluate the entire methylation and detoxification pathway to truly understand where this is getting hung up. Now, this is why I often recommend a comprehensive methylation profile, not just a single gene test like MTHFR, like we're seeing these days. So here's the good news. Like, if you have this issue, you can support your methylation pathways. You can support methylation for the purpose of better hormone balance. You want to start with 5 key strategies. Number 1 is you want to optimize your B vitamins, especially B6, B9, and B12. You want to eat cruciferous vegetables like broccoli, kale, Brussels sprouts, again, because these support liver detoxification. You want to support your gut. Estrogen is reabsorbed if your gut isn't eliminating properly. Fiber and probiotics help here. You want to reduce your toxin exposure, avoid plastics and pesticides, synthetic hormones that mimic estrogen. So some other things you can do is you can test your genes and your homocysteine levels to personalize your nutrient support. Now again, when methylation works well, your hormones stay balanced, your energy improves, your mood stabilizes, and your risk of chronic disease drops. Well, hey, I hope you enjoyed today's video. I'm Dr. Hagmeyer. If you found this video helpful, I want you to check out this video here, or even this video over here in this corner.